Welcome to the Sustainable Success Show, where we share real-world ideas, strategies, and systems to help you build success that lasts in business and life. Each episode delivers practical insights you can apply immediately without burnout, chaos, or short-term fixes that don't scale. At the foundation is emotional intelligence and effective communication, how you lead yourself and how you connect with others across personalities, generations, and cultures, because that's where trust, engagement, and performance are created. I'm Christopher Salem, your host, and this is where sustainable success becomes your competitive advantage. Hi, welcome to the Sustainable Success Show. I'm your host, Chris Salem. Hope everyone's having a great week. We are excited if this is your first time. Again, we went to a new platform back in January of this year. So now you could actually watch our show, not just listen to it, how it's been over the last 8.5 years. But now that we're over 9 years into this show, we now have the ability now where you can actually watch it on our YouTube channel at Christopher R. Salem. That is my personal YouTube. You can watch the episodes each and every week there. And of course, as always, you can listen to the show on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, as well as iHeartRadio as well. So with that being said, if you are new to us, you can also check us out at our Facebook page at Sustainable Success 2017, where we've had many of our great guests sharing their words of wisdom and insights to help elevate you and your business to the next level. Our show, as always, is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a social media community platform bringing all people together from all different generational types and an opportunity to meet new people for the first time. Now, it takes all the noise out of social media, so no more of those noisy notifications. You get to generate genuine and authentic relationships with the people you choose to interact with. If you'd like some more information about Alumni Direct, check them out at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. Well, we got a great show. As always, today we are going to be talking about why presentations fail in 7 minutes and how to fix it. So you're going to be able to turn attention into action. Now, most presentations don't fail because of bad content. They fail because people stop paying attention. And in this conversation, we're going to be having our guest, which I'll be introducing, Jeff Brandeis, breaks down how these audiences disengage within minutes and how to reverse it. And a little bit about Jeff. He's a keynote speaker, author, presentation strategist who helps leaders turn presentations into revenue-driving moments. With 25 plus years in executive sales, he understands what makes people pay attention and what makes them act. He is the creator of the Engage framework and host of the Authority Playbook on NowMedia TV, where he shares insights on communication, influence, and business growth. And without further ado, we welcome Jeff Brandeis to the show. Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, sir. How about yourself?
Doing great.
Brandeis, if you don't mind.
Brandeis. Okay. Yeah, I've always been known not to say names really well, but thanks for correcting me on that. So with that being said, Jeff, if you could kind of share with us a little background about what you're going to share with us today to turn our presentations around quickly, that where we immediately get that attention, and not only from the beginning, but throughout to the conclusion, to get that buy-in on rapport and trust. But if you could share a little background, what you're going to kind of, from your experience, what led you up to where you are, what you're sharing with us today.
So appreciate that. So really what we're here to talk about is how to hold someone's attention and really what's transpiring in today's world, because more and more presentations are being done virtually. And even those that are done live, we tend to really not get people totally engaged when we are speaking. Virtually makes it totally more difficult to keep people from picking up their phone or opening another tab or doing something totally different. Because right now in the virtual world, even in 3 minutes, 7 minutes, we're not holding attention because we're not involving the audience. I'm sure our listeners been there. Hey, most presentations virtually, they all begin the same way. Or I won't say all, let's say 95% of them do start the same way. Hey, welcome to my webinar. Welcome to my presentation. It's so nice to have you all here today. Can everyone hear me? Raise your hand. Right, great. And then they go into where you're calling in from. Great. And then they um, might go into my PowerPoint slides. So they share the slides, and then it's just like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of slide. And really, it becomes more about what me and my product and everything else around it versus why should people be listening to you? You're not holding their attention. You're not asking them any questions. You're not getting them involved with your presentation. And that's what we built is this engage framework to get people involved and to take them through a journey of your presentation.
Talk about that, because a lot of times, I know a lot of people always like to lead with features and benefits and what they do, but
Yep.
it's not about that, right? Especially when you're trying to build that rapport and trust. You got to lead with the challenge that can be better and the results they seek to have. What do you find? Like, is there like a certain one way, or is it a very customized approach when you're looking to immediately capture that attention, depending upon who your audience is and who you're talking to?
So there's a very generic approach, obviously, but there's really at the end of the day, people are attending your presentation for a reason. Something in your title, something in your description resonated with them, right? Because they felt that they needed guidance, that they needed assistance in solving a problem. And what most presenters fail to do in the beginning is to remind people of that pain. So, what the E in our Engage framework really begins to kind of take people through is to establish the problem of why they're here, put them back in the reason why they actually attended, and begin to make it resonate with them, and that you're now on a path on how we're going to actually solve that pain, solve that problem, and that's why they're here today.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. So, we have a lot of people here that are going to be, small business owners, company founders and CEOs of small companies. We have high performers here that would be, sales professionals. What would be that first step? A lot of things you've already shared. Like, what would be that first step? Because again, trying to do everything all at once can be sometimes cause people to, again, go on. I don't know if I can do this, and then they just default right back to what they usually do. What would be that first step to kind of start making these adjustments?
The first step is in the opening when you actually
Yeah.
you gotta hook them. You gotta be able to. What I like to also phrase this as provide them a whiplash. Okay, get them to sit back and go, "Holy mackerel! I never heard that before." So one of the things that I do when I start a webinar, for example, and I'll start with something very simple, and I'll go, uh, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's how long it takes before someone checks their phone during your presentation, which means most people never fully hear what you do, why it matters, or why they should even care. And then I kind of go into what the reason is for that. So I don't start off with, "Hi, I'm Jeff Brandeis. Welcome to my presentation today. So glad to have you." I start off with something that kind of goes, "Wow, that's a whole different approach. That's a whole different way of getting me to pay attention to why I'm here today."
And like you said, when you just said that, if we don't get their attention right away, the likelihood of kind of, picking up that momentum to get them back to where we want to be somewhere soon after or in the middle or towards the end is probably less likely.
Very, very true, especially in our today's age where it's so easy to pick this thing up if we're not really focusing on the presentation that we're attending. It's so easy to click on another tab, to open up another browser or turn off your camera if they even had their camera on to begin with. So one of the things we always try to recommend and we work with presenters is to have an engagement period every 3 to 5 minutes. It's kind of think about this like TV. What keeps your attention in TV? It's constantly moving, constantly changing your scenes. It's constantly changing the environment. Your presentations, more than likely, and no disrespect to anyone that's listening or watching today, a lot of presentations, with all due respect, are silent movies. Yes, you're talking, but it's just basically the same scene, the same PowerPoint slide that has different words, and you're just going through a presentation of what's in the why am I here today? So two different analogies and two totally different types of styles of presenting.
Yeah. And it comes to like presenting, again, I know it's always in the eye of the beholder, knowing your audience, because not everyone's going to perceive things the same way. You got different personality types and generational types and culture and other types. So it depends on who you're talking to. But in general, what do you recommend for presentations? Is less best, like in terms of, maybe more visuals than less text? Present like a checklist, not like a paragraph.
100% true, Chris. What if you're using slides as part of your presentations? Your slides are there for you more to help guide you, and you should be using bullets on your slides, not paragraphs. And people aren't attending your presentation to hear you read to them. Okay, it's not a bedtime story, with all due respect. Okay, so if you're just going to read to me, just send me the slides, and I don't even have to, pay attention right here. So, your slides are really cues for you to be able to expand on them and to be able to tell people a story or to tell them more details about what's involved on that slide.
Because also, like when you're doing a presentation, again, we're trying to align to their challenge that could be better, the results they seek, to get that buy-in to where maybe now we can maybe introduce what we can do to, as an option to help them, whatever that, in this case, in that case, an option, but hey, that we could help you. Is it important to, at certain parts of the presentation during whatever, how you have your slide set up, to ask certain types of open-ended questions to get that buy-in, to make sure we got the green light to keep moving it forward?
Asking questions is the most valuable thing you can do during a presentation. And with some of the things that we do with our clients, because we have apps that also plug into Zoom, Teams, and other platforms, is the poll questions just show right up on the screen. And it does two things. One, obviously gets the audience involved. So they're answering questions into chat, and as they answer, the percentages start to show up of how, if it's a multiple choice, of how they actually answer the questions. But it also helps you as a presenter to understand your audience. So let's say hypothetically, I don't know, I'm an insurance person and I'm trying to sell retirement planning, right? And I put a multiple choice question up of, it's approximately, are you in the age group of 25 to 35, 36 to, I don't know, 45? And you have four different categories. And you came in thinking your presentation was going to be geared all around 55 to 65-year-olds. But now you find out 65 to 70% of your audience are in that 35% range, right? Now you start talking about, being 60 years old and they're already only 35, boom, they're gone. So having those questions and being able to understand the makeup of your audience will help you shift your presentation, with all due respect, based upon the majority of the audience and how they're answering the questions. And at the same time, you're getting great data about your audience that you need to have a follow-up. And that's another aspect of being able to ask great questions, because it's, at the end of the day, your webinar, it's all in the follow-up.
It's all in the follow-up. How about, this is one thing I've found that I learned over the years, because I've been in sales my entire life, and
Yep.
in selling, you got to also you got, when you're presenting, you have to also read the room, not only with the eye contact, but you got to read body language. Because if I say something and somebody is like, well, if nobody can see it watching the video, but I'm folding my arms right now, and somebody's got that, there might be resistance there. So I'm not going to maybe carry through to maybe that next part. I may have to regroup and adapt to see what I can do to get those arms unfolded, to make sure the body language is in alignment, to, even though they might say, yeah, they might be agreeing with me doing this, but meanwhile, something else is contradicting that. So love to get your take on that, because I find that a lot of salespeople miss that.
A lot of people, you're 100% correct, Chris. A lot of people don't read the room. They get into their pitch, with all due respect, and they just become the mechanical bull and they just keep going, and going, and they're not looking at the audience, or the cameras are off, and sometimes you just gotta slow down, change your voice, lower your voice, ask a question, and get people to kind of lean in a little bit more, and being able to kind of wake them up. And it's, yes, you're reading the room, yes, you're being more cognizant of your audience, which at the end of the day you need to be, because I used to do this, and I'm sure when in your early days you used to feel the same way. As, hey, that was a great webinar, I ended it, that was fantastic, everyone said thanks, that I learned a lot, right? We've been there. But what happened afterwards? No one bought. There was crickets, and there was like people just being polite to you. Okay, why? Because we never really did anything to get them involved, to get them engaged, and being able to totally bring them into your presentation. And let me know if that ever resonated with you, Chris. I know it did with me early on.
No, it's so true. I love what you just shared there. And so let's talk a little bit about, like, you're hitting in some really key points. And what you just said, a lot of times people could have great information, but they didn't really include or engage the audience enough to really tap into that pain point. And then, they might get like, some comments, and, like, either if it's, face to face, or if it's over Zoom or Teams, hey, thank you, great information, that type of thing. And then nothing happens, because there was no call for action or call to action. It's not that you're trying to pitch them and get them, but there was nothing for them to take that next step to say, I got to maybe contact, Jeff to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% correct. So the last E in our engage framework stands for extend the offer, or extend what the next step is. Okay. Again, I'm sure we've all been on presentations where the presenter will go, hey, everyone, thanks for attending. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. It's been great to have you all here today. Have a great day. Okay. I used to do that too, until you kind of learn that that's not really a call to action, right? That does nothing other than what we just talked about.
Really helping them, because they're just going to stay stuck sitting where they are and not moving forward.
Correct. So what you got to be able to do is, either several different ideas you have, or you can do is one, hey, click the link in chat, or on here's a fill out a form and get my free PDF that will help you in doing XYZ. Or here's my calendar link. Click on it and be able to do book a meeting with me. And one of my other favorite things, for those of you who are listening, with all due respect, this is a writer downer. If you haven't written anything else yet, write this down. Be an FILer. So Chris is going to ask you, what's an FILer? Okay.
That was going to be what I was going to ask, because if I guessed it, I would have said something completely different, probably. Who knows?
But it's great. What I like to phrase that at, and I learned this from a coach of mine, a first in liner.
Oh.
What does that mean? For the first 7 of you that click this link, I will personally provide you XYZ. A first in line. You want those fast action takers to get something special. So an FILer, first in line, gets a special bonus for being first in line, for taking you up on your offer.
Got it. No, I love that. And what I would, if you can do this, because I know you covered, we kind of maybe skipped around a few things here, but all great insights what you've been sharing, Jeff. Can you walk us through just again summarizing the engage process, like from ENAGE? Just if you could do that again, just to make sure, so that I want to make sure the listeners and those listening later really grasp this, so they can reach out to you.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for that. So the first E in engage is to establish the problem. Again, we talked about this early on, is to put them in the mindset that, hey, I do have a problem, and that's why I attended. And then early on in the presentation, the end is name or begin to paint that picture of what it's like to work with you and how we eliminate that pain, and what it would be like to basically solve that problem that they are in. The G is, and I'm going to name this one, is give them a show. Okay. Talk to them about, some stories, some of your clients, but put some energy into your presentation. Again, I've been on presentations where, hi, I'm Jeff Brandeis. Welcome to my presentation here today. We're going to go talk about the X, Y, and Z. All right. Come on, folks. I mean, you're on stage. People are here to see you and to listen to you. I like to stand up when I do presentations, like I am right now, because it gives me some extra energy. But those are the types of things also that frees my hands. As you can see, I talk a lot with my hands. But that's what you want to do. You want to be able to give them a show, get them excited. And the A is the authority. Why are you here today? What makes you the authority to solve what their problem is? So build that credibility, build that trust that you mentioned earlier. Know, like, and trust is so important. But one thing I'll bring it up, is everybody likes that phrase, know, like, and trust. But I swap out the like to a different word. I always like to be different. To me, it's learn. Now, I don't always have to like everybody who I do business with. And there were people who I honestly didn't really like, but if I could learn from them, that's, to me, more powerful than having to like them. So know, learn, and trust is more important to me. The last thing, the next one is G. The next second G, and this is the biggest challenge that most people have, is get them there. How do you get people into a presentation? How do you get them into a webinar? What steps do you have beforehand? What steps do you do during the webinar or the presentation? And the missing piece that a lot of people miss on is what happens after that presentation. Okay, so it's getting them there, getting them involved, and getting the steps in place to be able to follow up with them. Then the last E we just talked about was the extend the offer, or the next action step. Basically, that is to walk people through how to communicate with you, how best to interact with you.
Wow. We hope everybody wrote those down. You can go back and listen to this episode again. And again, this is going to also prompt you to also reach out to Jeff, which will be providing his contact information. Well, he'll be doing that. We'll also have that in the show notes as well. Wow. Thank you for laying that out for us, Jeff, because I know that is just valuable insight. You mentioned, again, like something alluding to follow-up. Like now after the presentation, follow-up is key. Like, what do you find is the best way? Like, what are some ways? I know it might be different based upon who you're talking to, but just in general, like what's follow-up look like?
So there's two different follow-ups that need to happen. People go, two? What do you mean? There's just one. It's just the people that attended your presentation. Well, yeah. So you got people who attended your presentation, and if you were asking them questions during your presentation, you now have data. Okay, so they answer questions a certain way. Make that follow-up, integrate that follow-up, their answers into your email, or into your text. Or if you're able to even be more creative, is create a video as a follow-up that's personalized to the individual. Videos are more interactive. They show more intent on your side. So you're going to have a really high response if you can create a short video just recapping, what the people said and how you actually solve the problem. And also here, I just see you didn't book a call with me, or you download. Here are those links again to book a call. But the second part of the follow-up, if I may, so I had 100 people register for my webinar, my presentation. 40 of those showed up. What do you do with the other 60? Most people ignore them. Wrong. They showed interest in signing up. I mean, life happens. People get sick. It just, emergencies.
Forgot, say double booked on their calendar. Something happened.
Exactly. You got 60 people that said, at least raise their hands. You have email. Follow up with them as well. Don't ignore them. You got gold in those emails. Don't throw them away. You're throwing money down the drain at that point.
Golden stuff. Great stuff here you're sharing. Jeff, as we get near the end of the show, is there other things that we have not, that I didn't ask or you haven't covered that you feel that can really connect the dots to what, this topic that you're sharing with us today? Because people don't realize that, there is gold in presentations. It's just, again, how you are able to adapt to your audience, all the key strategies that you shared with us, and how that can reflect favorably in the metrics and your KPIs in terms of more conversions and more closes on business. Anything else that you feel that could really just bring it home?
So a lot of people start with their presentation with naming a title, and then they work through it. For me, I like to go backwards. Okay, what's the end result you want to have happen? What are you trying to drive people to? So I'll actually start with my ending of what I want to accomplish for what I want them to achieve, and build my slide deck and build my presentations that way, as opposed to going from, hey, let's come up with a fancy title and then go forward. So I want to know what my results are. But you also said a couple of really things that a lot of people don't do. They don't follow or track metrics. I hit upon a little bit early. I got 100 people signed up, 40 showed up. So I have 40% ratio. How many people booked calls? How many people downloaded my PDF? How many people did nothing? How many people did I actually close after the fact? These are all important metrics. And even where the people got off the webinar,
Yeah.
Okay. Did they leave in the first 5 minutes, or did they leave, right before my offer? So these are all learning things for you to be able to do, to be able to help improve your presentations moving forward.
Awesome. Jeff, I want to thank you so much for taking time. I wish we had an hour to do. We'll definitely have you back on a future episode to talk further on this topic, because it's so important for business and sales leaders out there alike. We want to make sure that the audience gets to know you better. What is the best way they can contact you? What are you up to, and anything that you would like to share or provide them?
Well, the easiest way for people to contact me is, let's have a conversation. Just go to speakwithjeff.com. Speakwithjeff.com. That has my calendar link in there. Go out there, book a half hour. Love to have just a conversation, learn more about you, learn about me. And then, of course, they can go out to my website, engagingwebinars.com or jeffbrandeis.com. And, of course, they can find me on LinkedIn. But the best and easiest way, speakwithjeff.com. Let's just have a conversation.
Well, we'll make sure that all of Jeff's contact information will be in the show notes. That'll be across all the different platforms you can listen to this, whether listening or watching the show. So everything will be there. And if you do reach out to us, we'll make sure to connect you as well directly with Jeff, since we have all of his information. Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And listeners, we want to thank you each and every week joining us here at Sustainable Success. Again, we are committed to bringing in subject matter experts like Jeff in each and every week, sharing their words of insights to help move you and your business to the next level. If there is any content that we have not shared over 9 years we've had this show out there, feel free to reach out to our team here at chris@sustainablesuccess.net. That's chris@sustainablesuccess.net. Till then, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we'll be back same time next week, Friday at 12 noon East Coast time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Take care.